Welcome back to Book Break, and get the tissues to the ready because in this video I'm going to talk about books that will make you cry. Sometimes that's what you're looking for in a book. Sometimes it can be really cathartic to settle down with a heartbreaking book and just sob uncontrollably. Sounds strange when you say it that way, but I know I'm not the only one. So here are 9 books that are guaranteed to make you cry. Starting with an obvious one, A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. Half of BookTube have filmed themselves wailing to this book, and it really is that sad. This book is not going to be for everyone. There is a lot of very sensitive content in here. You do get descriptions of sexual abuse, you get descriptions of self-harm. So not everyone is going to find that this book is suited to them, and that's okay. But it does have a very dedicated following of the readers who do love it, myself included. I thought it was beautiful and it did make me cry a lot. It's about a young man called Jude who has suffered extreme trauma, extreme abuse in his childhood, and we follow him throughout the years trying to recover from this. He has a core group of other male best friends, and they're a really tight-knit group, though things do happen over the years to tear them apart. He also has a stand-in family who you become more and more attached to as the book goes on. But it just never gets easier for him, and it is so heartbreaking watching this man continue to try and be okay with himself and never quite get there. I thought the characters in here were just so beautifully crafted. I really felt like I knew each and every one of them, and I wanted the book to be longer. It's already a big book, but I just wanted to dive even further into each character's life, into each of their backstories, and know where each of their stories were going to go. This next one surprised me. This is the Traveling Cat Chronicles by Hiro Arakawa, and I had heard people say that they cried over this book, but I have to admit I'm not a huge cat person. I like cats, but I'm a dog person, so I thought I would be immune to this book. But let me tell you, I was wrong. This book is about a man who takes his cat on a journey through Tokyo to meet various characters from his past. And slowly as the book goes on, you start to realise what this journey is for, why this is happening, and your heart will just slowly break, and the cat's heart will slowly break, and it's all too much. It's such a good depiction of the relationship between humans and animals, the particular type of love that a human receives from a pet that's just so unique, and the type of love we feel for our pets in return. It's just beautiful. I'm gonna cry again. Another one with a cat on the cover. I've got 2 books here, Before the Coffee Gets Cold and the sequel, Before the Coffee Gets Cold, Tales from the Cafe. So this is a series set in a time-travelling cafe. It's a very unusual cafe where there's a particular seat that if you sit in it and get poured a special cup of coffee, you will go back in time just for the length of time before your coffee goes cold. There are all sorts of really strict rules about how time travel works, and this series is made up of little vignettes, different characters who come to the cafe for different reasons to travel through time and meet people from their past, meet people from their future, and they are so heartwarming in some cases and heartbreaking in many others. The way these books are written are quite unusual. I believe they were originally a stage play, and you can kind of tell that from the way that it's written. And the simplicity of the writing just adds to the emotion. It's so straightforward that it just sucks you straight into the characters' souls. I wept. Shelter by Jung Yun is an incredibly sad book. This is about a man called Kyung, and the book begins when his mother staggers into his garden, severely beaten, having been attacked, and the book then describes this very violent, awful attack on Kyung's parents. The family have had issues, have not been close in a long time, but in the aftermath of this attack they find themselves all living under the same roof for the first time in years, and all of these memories of trauma just rise to the surface. It is almost unbearable. Then I've got Patsy by Nicole Dennis Benn, another one that just hurt my heart so many times. So this book jumps back and forth between the stories of a mother and daughter, both born in Jamaica, but when the daughter is just around 5 years old, her mother, Patsy, decides to leave her and move to New York to try and chase the life that she believes she always wanted. And we then follow them over the course of over a decade, True coping with her feelings of abandonment, having been left behind by her mother and having had no contact with her ever since, Patsy in New York, struggling with the fact that life isn't what she thought it was going to be, with her incredible feelings of guilt for having left her daughter True behind, and it just gets sadder and sadder. There are lots of moments of beauty and connection in here, but there are also a lot of really heartfelt moments. This quote on the back from Tayari Jones actually sums it up really well. Patsy is a heartbreaker, but a heart mender too. Our Souls at Night by Kent Harif is about two neighbours who later in life, having lived near each other for many, many years, now finding themselves alone with their families long gone, decide to start sleeping together at nights, literally sleeping in the same bed, because the nights are the hardest parts. The nights are when they feel the most lonely. And so they come to this arrangement where they will just pass the nights together so that they have someone to talk to in bed when everything feels very dark and very lonely. So it's really beautiful, and slowly they begin to develop more of a relationship. So there's a lot of loveliness in this book, but I did finish it with a massive lump in my throat. Pachinko by Min-Jin Lee is another one that just hit me over and over again where it hurt. So this is another book that spans decades. You can tell I love those types of books. And this is a really interesting book because it taught me a lot about Korean Japanese history that I didn't know. We follow the generations of this family as they move to Japan after the annexation of Korea, and just so much keeps going wrong for them. The book is all about resilience and determination and survival, so it's a really wonderful book. I loved it, but it did also just keep crushing me. The Most Precious of Cargoes by Jean-Claude Grimberg is a sort of fairy tale. It's translated from French and set during World War II, so against the backdrop of the horrors of the Holocaust. And we follow two stories. We see a Jewish man riding on a train with twin babies, and in the hope of saving them, he wraps one in a shawl and throws her from the window of the train. Meanwhile, in the woods, a couple, a woodcutter and his wife who have longed for a child, find this baby wrapped up in a bundle and take her home. So as I said, it's very fairy tale-esque and just so sad. And finally, there is Shaggy Bane by Douglas Stewart, the Booker Prize winner 2020. This is another one, a bit like A Little Life, that has just had so many people weeping and also has such a dedicated following. So this is about a boy called Shaggy growing up in Glasgow with an alcoholic mother who he absolutely adores, and who is this wonderful character. She's painted as such an empathetic character, but who finds herself unable to properly care for Shaggy. So it is just heart-wrenching stuff with characters that feel so real to you and that you so want to protect. So those were my top 9 tear-jerking books for when you just really want to cry, and I would love to know your recommendations as well. Do leave any books in the comments below that you think will make me cry, and I will give them a go and see if I can be strong enough to survive them. In the meantime, I will leave a link here to a playlist of all of our other literary fiction book recommendations, so do click through and have a browse. And I'll see you next time.